and a PhD holder. He has been in so many universities in the United States. He's come back to India, has an illustrious academic career. और सबसे मज़ेदार बात, it's our honor कि sir is over here and in person will be sharing with us. You can't hear, so there's a voice trouble.
I was able to hear though.
I think there is a problem with the YouTube streaming problem. I think it's okay now. I hope they can now hear me now. So let us get a confirmation. I hope they are able to hear me. Please confirm. Can you hear me? The tech support. Can you please confirm? Can you hear me? Great. Sorry for the tech error. So I start again. Okay. So we have with us Dr. Harish Padh. As I told you, he has an awesome academic career. Vice Chancellor of Sardar Patel University since 2010, and he is been on the UPSC panel 3 years continuously. And UPSC panel पे होने का मतलब समझ रहे हो, that he has the knowledge, the intricate knowledge of how to crack this exam. So इतना हमारा honor है that sir is here in person to explain to us the nitty-gritties of the strategies to crack this exam, and also the importance of the upcoming Unacademy Civil Services Championship, which is an awesome opportunity for all of you. Please remember 27th March को ये होने वाला है. Sir, welcome to Unacademy, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sidharth. It's my pleasure to be here.
Sir, a few words for our learners, sir. They must be really, really excited to hear from you, sir.
Well, first of all, I must compliment all the students or prospective students who are going to take the prelim exam in the month of June. And I think that in itself is an indication of your commitment to go through and crack not only prelim, but all subsequent tests that you will be facing. Along with that, I also want to draw your attention that Unacademy is conducting, giving you an opportunity to win scholarship and prizes, and that will depend on your performance on the test, very similar to the prelim test that we are going to talk about. So this qualifying test will be very similar to that, and this is your opportunity to one, practice the prelim as well as get some prizes and scholarship from Unacademy, and that date is March 27th. So be prepared. And coming back to your commitment on the UPSC exam, I think if you are committed, I think half of the work is already done. And the other thing is to just prep up and try to meaningfully use your resources in a way that you can maximize your chances in the UPSC. Awesome. With that, I once again welcome all the prospective learners to this particular session.
Beautiful. Sir, on behalf of our learners, sir, मैं आपसे कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछना चाहूँगा, एंड आई एम श्योर सर ये हर एक के मन के क्वेश्चंस हैं. सो आई एम श्योर दैट आवर लर्नर्स विल गेट द बेनिफिट फ्रॉम योर आंसर. सर 90 डेज के अप्रॉक्सीमेटली रह गए फॉर प्रिपरेशन ऑफ दिस एग्जाम, सर. अबाउट 90 डेज इज लेफ्ट.
यस.
सो यूपीएससी में एक मेजर प्रॉब्लम होता है इंटिमिडेशन, डर लगने लग जाता है. एंड 90 डेज हो जाता है तो और भी डर लगने लग जाता है. सो व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन टाइम मैनेजमेंट in the upcoming 3 months before our learners take this prelims exam, sir?
I think if we talk about the prelim exam, you know that is based on the multiple choice questions. And there are two important things to consider for taking this kind of a multiple choice exam. One is that you have to have a good understanding of the topic for that particular questions. If you have preparation which is a kind of superficial, you will be tempted to go for the answer, the choice that may not be the accurate one. And these days, it is not only any of the three or four choices may be correct, or maybe a combination of them may be a correct one. So unless you have understood the concept, if your preparation is a concept based, then you should not find much difficulties. So that is one thing. If you have memorized things, then the questions are these days in a way that may confuse you, and you may pick up the wrong choice. The second thing is the speed. The speed is important because I hear that many times people are not able to complete at least some portion.
Yes.
And that is the strategy that you have to develop. That at a glance you have to get the essence of what is written there, and then try to come up with the correct answer. If you are not very sure, you can come back to it and go to the next one, rather than taking a wrong choice and then unnecessarily. So speed is one thing, and speed is not something that you can develop over a period of time. But you have to develop a habit of glancing at a paragraph, for example, pick up few words and get an essence of it, and then you make your choice based on that particular one. So two things are important:
Right.
Conceptual understanding and a good speed. These two things you have to focus, whether it is 90 days or you are talking more time. But if you have prepared this way, I'm sure you will have a good opportunity.
Right. Sir, I mean, ये questions ऐसे actually तो it is but understood. बोलते तो सब है sir, but like sir, MCQ based preparation, vis-a-vis,
Yeah.
vis-a-vis or compared to book based preparation. कि मैंने बुक पढ़ लिया and then whatever time left I will do the MCQs. Or rather, मैं MCQs पहले कर लेता हूँ and where I get stuck I refer to a book. Which one do you think is more suitable right now, sir, now that you have only 90 days to prepare for the exam, sir?
You see, I'll still emphasize that the understanding of the topic is very critical. And I will give you an example. These days the war is going on in Ukraine, and they may ask you about, let's say, what is a vacuum bomb. Now, vacuum bomb is something that you may not have studied anywhere. It may not be in the book because it's so current one.
Yes, hyperbaric.
Now you have to understand what is a vacuum bomb, and as a science subject, you have to understand how it works, how it is different from other similar bombs, and what is the impact, why it is come into the prominence in the news these days. So if you have understood this much, no matter what the choices they have given, you can pick up the right choice. If you are very vague about it, then it's very likely that the way that these choices are framed, you may be trapped. So this is just an example that one has to be conceptually very clear about what the topic is. Awesome. And similarly, I'm sure there are a number of issues with Corona, for example. They may try to confuse. See, since I'm from science, I'm trying to pick up some issues with. They may say that coronavirus is a RNA virus, and then the choice they may give, it is correct, it is semi-correct, or the vaccine is RNA based, and all of these things may confuse you. So if you are clear in your understanding, then you can try to pick up the question. So again and again, what I would like to emphasize is the conceptual clarity of the topic is very important.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question, sir. Again, uh, this must be resonating with many of our learners. उनके सबके मन में ये होता है. Sir, since you were on UPSC panel and you were not on UPSC
Yeah.
panel for 1 year, you were on UPSC panel for 3 years. So you know the expectation of the examiner, the panel also. Is
Yes.
UPSC looking for geniuses, sir? Are you looking for a genius to become an IS officer?
I don't know how you define
I
genius
mean,
and
above
but
extraterrestrial intelligence kind of stuff, is that something what you're looking for?
I think intelligence is one aspect of it, but that is not in my opinion, that's not very central.
Okay.
I think if I have to point one thing of very importance in the UPSC is the management of your resources.
Wow.
And the most important resource is your time. So if you use the time rightly and whatever you have studied, whatever you have prepared, I think that is one thing that I have to comment. There are other things also, but I think that is very important. Now, for example, in UPSC panel, most of the questions come from your own forms that you have filled up.
Yes.
I don't know what is the technical name for that. But your education, the place that you are coming from, your hobbies, people make quite, they write a lot of hobbies. And some of them they may have done sometime, but they may not be up to date with all of this. So most of the questioning start with this, and then it may end up anywhere. Anywhere on the current scenario.
Sir, if I could interject, sir, could you give it, sir, any anecdote that strikes you, sir, कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ था किसी aspirant ने, मतलब he wrote something else and then the examination panel went someplace else. Anything that interesting, so that our students get an example, sir, कि क्या नहीं करना है, what not to do.
You see, I'll tell you क्या नहीं करना वो I will come to that. Let me say क्या करना है.
Okay.
Suppose I write that my native is Gujarat or Ahmedabad, and if I don't know much about Gujarat history, economics, social aspects, and the current affairs, then it itself is a very evident that the person is not really prepared for.
Wow.
Similarly, in hobbies, people write, writing poetry, for example. There's nothing wrong. You can, but if you have not written, don't write it, and don't add too many hobbies. You just have 2, 3 at the most. In which you are well prepared and you are really into it. Otherwise, these are the easy targets where we can easily know the depth of the person on this particular topic. So there are things. So there are things to do that prepare about your own background, your place that you come from, the companies that you have worked for. Many times people were not able to give a good answers for the company that they have been working for, and that questions may be about their financial history, they may be about scandals, maybe about the technology. So if you are working somewhere, then you have to be very good about. Now, we were talking about the personality test, but this is how UPSC tries to judge.
Okay.
Your question was whether we are picking up genius. It's not really genius that in public administration really requires. Although there's nothing wrong in having some traits of a genius in you, it's not a counter. It won't work against you. But you have to be a good balance and good, and your response should be quite unemotional. Many times they drag you into where you have to comment politically about a party or individual, and you have to be quite wary about it. And the same thing also may be there in the essay writing. That essay writing may have a topics, and then you might be tempted to go into a comment which would be
Not good.
counterproductive. So overall, UPSC is looking for people who are quite well aware about the happenings around you, have a balanced mind, and have a rational approach in decision making, and over and above that, some sensitivity to the society that they intend to serve. So these are some of the things that UPSC would be looking for.
Awesome. So our learner friends, I hope आप लोग को realize हो रहा है, this is coming from an expert in bold capital letters, somebody who was on the UPSC panel, जिनको exactly मालूम है expectations, and he is himself saying that conceptual based preparation करो, understand the topic, absorb the topic, then utilize it, and also try and make sure that your approach is very very balanced, very very nuanced. Otherwise, don't go into so-called the prohibited territory of becoming too aggressive or too irrational or any of these parts, and UPSC will catch you. Sir, my next query जो I'm of course asking, sir, learners के मन में इस time पे बहुत tension हो रहा होगा. Sir, what do you advise to our learners with regards to maintaining balance of mind or emotions? Because this time per sir, because they have invested their years, some of them more than a couple of years, to prepare for this exam. Of expectations are high, numbers of seats are relatively less. So how do you maintain the balance of mind? How do you maintain composed, calm, and demeanor at this stage, sir? What would your advice be?
I can understand that it's not very easy. It's easy to advise learners how to keep balance, etc. But practically, it may not be that easy. But at the same time, if you try your best, have a balanced approach in the sense that you want to do your best. And if you do your best in a systematic way, it's very likely that you will crack not only prelim but all other subsequent steps. And maybe you couldn't do it this time, but that's not the end of the world. So you have to be balanced about it. That it is important. It's a very critical day whenever the exam is conducted. But that is not the end of the world, and if you don't think too much about the consequences of it, then you will be fine. And I would advise that at least in a day, spend 1 hour or so, have a walk outside, do some sports, do something, keep this UPSC exam away from your mind for at least those hour and a half in a day, and then have a routine which is not too exerting, at the same time gives you enough time for preparations and enough time for your other responsibilities that you might have at home or in your workplace. So I would say at least 1 hour of some form of exercise. Even if you don't exercise, at least keep the exam things out of your mind. Meditate, whatever you want to do, but do that. That really will help you to kind of balance the tension that it generates.
Great. Sir, actually, we all at Unacademy absolutely agree with this also. So, हम लोग भी Unacademy में, we bring about so many methods of exposures to the students. सिर्फ ऐसा rote memorization या फिर dry preparation नहीं होने देते. So, we try and give you, we absolutely ensure that so many speakers such as you will come and share, civil services topper will share their experiences. इससे क्या होता है सर, उनका मोटिवेशन लेवल हाई रहता है. वी ऑल्सो गिव देम अनअकैडमी कॉम्बैट सर, एक ऑप्शन हम लोग देते हैं, यू मस्ट बी अवेयर, जिसमें वी ट्राई एंड टेस्ट द मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस अगेन एंड अगेन, सो दैट ऑल वैराइटीज ऑफ प्रिपरेशन साथ साथ में होता रहता है. So
Yes.
this is what we are doing. So uh, just a couple of more doubts. So one question. So is stage per, so many people advise some strange books, some strange resources, some so-called quote unquote secret resources of cracking this exam. So I want आपकी तरफ से a myth buster कि sir, is there any secret remedy to crack this exam? Is there any secret book? Is there anything that is out of world
I
that is possible?
I don't think that there can be any such one or few sources which are that secret. I think general and good preparation over a period of time, maybe a year or a little more than a year, but in a nice and a systematic way, if you have done that, I think that is the way to do it. In this period of 90 days, I think you may you may refresh whatever you have studied, but focus on conceptual learning rather than just memorizing because the question will never be in the same form that you may read it in the book, multiple questions. If you have understood the concept, then it becomes very easy. And think about last few years and some of the events which would have generated the topics that may come in some form or other in the multiple choice in the prelim exam. Like some examples I gave you, that vacuum bomb and corona related, etc. From science perspective, those are important things. From other perspective like economics and all, now you are seeing that the world stage is facing a challenge of getting multiple big powers in terms of economics.
Yes.
Rise of China, how things are being balanced. The Russia, which was kind of downplayed so far, has also become a challenger to Europe. So all of these things will come in some form in a multiple choice as well. So these are some of the things along with your syllabus, the topics that have already been given. I think if you think in this way, I think your preparations will be good, better prepared to face unknown issues in the prelim.
Great. Since you've already covered the most important junctions on this part, sir, any advice to the students with regards to the last stage preparation? This is the last dash preparation, and how do they combine? How do they calculate the entire time period for all the subjects, not only science and technology, sir, but all the subjects? How do they combine it, and
Yes.
also with current affairs, sir? So any advice, sir, because आपकी advice बहुत काम आएगी, and this is what they should be able to take away, sir.
See, science and technology is important, but I think it roughly constitutes only 1/5 or 1/4 of the total coverage of both the exams, your prelim as well as the subsequent written test. Science is important, but it is to the level of about 1/4 of this. Then there are other subjects which are equally important, and you have to keep a right balance. Science, I give the example because that's more familiar to me, but it doesn't mean that that is the thing that you should focus on. You have to balance it as you see in the prelim exam. Whatever, as I said, 1/5, 1/4 is the science and technology. Similarly, there are other topics, and you have to allocate your time resource efforts in that, keeping that in mind, so that you don't overdo one subject at the cost of others.
Awesome. And the जैसे बोलते हैं the summary, the essence of what sir has right now shared, my friends. अगर आप इसको ऐसा टिप्स में करेंगे ना, तो what is important is study conceptually. स्टडी कॉन्सेप्चुअली, कॉन्सेप्ट भी गेम है ये पूरा. मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ फैक्ट्स के मार्क्स नहीं मिलते, इंटरकनेक्शन ऑफ फैक्ट्स के मार्क्स मिलते. दैट इज व्हाट यूपीएससी इज
Yes.
लुकिंग फॉर, यू नो, इंटरकनेक्शन हो रहा है अभी रशिया में, यूक्रेन में जो वॉर हो रहा है उससे रिलेटेड कितने सारे टॉपिक्स होते हैं साइंस एंड टेक में, जैसे सर ने एग्जांपल दिया हाइपरबैरिक ऑक्सीजन, हाइपरबैरिक बॉम्ब्स का, वैक्यूम बॉम्ब्स का, ओके, उसी तरह से इट कैन ऑल्सो बी कनेक्टेड टू नेटो इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस, ओके,
Yes.
इट कैन बी
Yes.
कनेक्टेड टू, अगर पॉलिटिकल साइंस में जाओगे तो इट इज़ अ वेरी क्लासिकल एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रियल पॉलिटिक, इट इज़ अ क्लासिकल एग्जाम्पल ऑफ इंटरनेशनल
Yes.
डिप्लोमेसी, कि कैसे इंडिया का न्यूआंस्ड अप्रोच है, वी आर नाइदर इन फेवर नॉट अगेंस्ट रशिया, यू नो, वो कैसे चलते हैं, आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड, दिस इज अ ब्यूटिफुल एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रियल पॉलिटिक, एंड इन द फ्रेंड्स ऑफ हेनरी किसिंजर देर आर नो परमानेंट फ्रेंड्स, नो परमानेंट एनिमीज, ओनली परमानेंट इंटरेस्ट, व्हाट अ ब्यूटिफुल लाइन, इस
Yeah.
टाइम पर इससे अच्छा अप्रोच नहीं हो सकता टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस बात। सो
Yes.
अनअकैडमी आप लोगों के लिए इसीलिए इतने एक्सपर्ट पैनल्स के साथ आपके डिस्कशन लाते हैं, ताकि यू रियली नो, यू गेट द एज इन दिस पार्ट, एंड इन दिस कंटिन्यूएशन हमारे पास प्लस क्लासेस है, आइकॉनिक क्लासेस है, एंड दिस अपकमिंग अनअकैडमी सिविल सर्विस चैंपियनशिप इज अ गेम चेंजर, प्लीज डोंट मिस इट, यू विल विन scholarships worth 15 crores and more, you will be getting an opportunity to be mentored by ex IPS officers, huge, including Madam Kiran Bedi in this case, and this will be great. So 27th March, please don't miss this under any circumstances. So,
Yeah.
any parting statements, any parting message for, and your good luck would go a long way for all of them, sir, please.
Well, first of all, as I started this thing, my compliments to all of you for your commitment, that you have decided to go for a civil service exam. And not only that, I wish you very well, but I also want to tell you that Unacademy would be helping in many ways, offering you the variety of resources. One, as Dr. Sidharth mentioned, that on March 27th, you have opportunity to win a part of the 15 crore jackpot in terms of scholarship and prize. And try to remain focused. Also, don't get stressed out, and have a balanced way of preparing for these and the subsequent exams. And my best wishes are with you. Also, on behalf of Unacademy, I can assure you that if you have any questions, any issues regarding this exam, you can approach them, and they will help you in whatever they can do. So, friends, once again, all the best, and hope to see you not only through this prelim, but also through the personality test down the line.
Thank you very much, sir. And in the words of Unacademy,
And
friends, let's crack it. Until next time, God bless. Thank you and Jai Hind. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It was our
thank
honor.
you.
It was our honor to have you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing such pearls of
It's
wisdom.
my
Thank you.
it's my pleasure, Siddharth. I'm seeing you after quite several months here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.